Alrighty, well, I'm gonna do my July update now. I was gonna wait a few more days to do it, but I figured this is a good time to do it. Now that a few pictures have opened and a few things have really kicked off this summer, I thought it'd be a good time to document. So I usually go to the table slash beam area, which is just where a lot of the attention grabbers are. I usually start off with my Jacklinia. You know, put out a little picture here. It is doing a bit better. It is starting to picture a little more. I was expecting that picture to be a little bit bigger, but at least it's putting out some pictures of some sort, and the basils look promising for pictures as well. So getting back on the right track with this one. Here is Nepenthes Jam Band, looking just very bushy right now, and it's only going to get a lot bushier. There's this interesting little development here on the stem, or some basal growth, about 3 points activated here. I'm just gonna let this grow in and see what it looks like. But yeah, a lot of basal pictures right now on this thing. This including this little one. What's funny is that this basal is the oldest one. I first noticed this basal in 2018, and this basal I first noticed I think in 2021. So the smallest basal is by far the oldest, which is interesting. You wouldn't think that's a 5-year-old basal, but I'm starting to put out uppers and intermediates. Here's a very much an intermediate, just getting kind of more splotchy, not as deep red. It's definitely some color changes happening with these, but yeah. Borneo Exotics, Nepenthes Jam Band, and here's my Nermis. Not at full capacity right now, but with this dying pitcher right here, but it's gonna open this one, and it'll have another one open soon. I think it'll have 2 on it soon. Kind of unusual for it to not have only one pitcher open, but it's okay. So here is Raja across Loya Vicia, and just 2 monsters on it right now. This thing put on a lot of size this last year, and I think I did a highlight video on this one recently, but this picture is so glorious, and it just gets better, and it's probably even better than my highlight video. Ustuba Clone 2, looks like a Raja with a ton of color, and just spectacular. Fuck. I can't get over it. And here is Raja Burbigia. This is the remake of Alyssa Petrana. It's kind of clustered together with these 3 other pictures. But gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Looks a lot like pure Burbigia. Definitely less Raja influence in this cross, or in this particular individual of this cross. And then it has basal opening there. A lot of basal growth. There's a basal pitcher back there, and then another plant has another pitcher coming back there. But obviously, you know, this one's kind of stealing the show right here from that plant. And then you obviously want to know what this is. This is Macrophylla crossloii, the remake of Trismatiensis with Stuba, opening a big, chunky pitcher. This thing is heavy. It's woody, toothy. Even has a little bit of lid hairs, and just something to behold. This is the most highly developed one yet. The peristome breadth and just the overall volume of the pitcher is a lot bigger. This is now a 19-inch plant in diameter, and it's got another one coming, probably open in like September, I'm guessing, maybe sometime in late August. But yeah, so here is Ventricosa across Attenborough. Newest picture here. Definitely the darkest picture to put out in terms of its color tone. These were very cream colored, very bright, and this one's a bit darker. Definitely a very, very nice picture though. I'm really interested to see how big this gets. And here's VCI Loei across Edward Sienna that I put into this pot. I'm going to repot it in a couple days, but I just put it in here for the time being. So it was starting to tip over because the weight of this new pitcher hanging off the table was really heavy, and this one is the biggest pitcher it's ever put out. Definitely the best shape. I mean, this has got to be like an 8.5-inch pitcher, maybe even, possibly even 9 inches tall. And this is brand new. This is what they look like when they first open up, maybe 5 days after opening. You can see that some of the peristome rims are still a little bit wrinkled, which is, they straighten out as a pitcher matures. But this one's going to darken up and become a lot like this one, probably, or probably more like this one, I'd say. So I'm excited for that. This one's really starting to mature, and I'm interested to see how big the pictures get. Okay, I'm actually gonna go back here. Here's Rob Cantley, Aristocules cross-spectabilis. Just the basils I kept. Chopped another plant off back in the fall, but basil's growing in pretty nice. Does not have anything even remotely close to a foot-high pitcher on it like it had a couple years ago, and that's fine. I don't have space for a giant plant like that right now, as I've acquired a few more recently. I'll talk about later in the video. Here's Berbigia VTM mollis. I repotted this one yesterday. Really needed it. Just getting the old media was bad, and just kind of outgrowing it anyway. So here's a new picture on it. Wistuba seed grown individual. Has a couple pictures coming. Here's Nepenthes VTI, Carnivoro, the Big Mama cross pink candy cane. Has a new picture coming here, and they always open up very pink and very cream colored, strawberries and cream kind of coloration to the pictures. Very slow, but you know, very much worth it. And the pictures are still pretty mature looking for the size of the plant, so no complaints. Here's Epiphytica cross mollis, so another Wistuba mollis hybrid. And what's nice is that this one isn't so mollis dominant. It definitely looks a lot like pure Epiphytica. Lovely dark rich color tones on this. There's a nice rosette of pictures, just doing quite very well, and have a new one here opening soon. And here is Lowii, she's Mattiform. Such a bristly, colorful individual, such dark colors. Only one picture on it right now. It usually takes a picturing hiatus between leaves, so you can only really expect 1 or 2 pictures on this thing at a time. And here's back here some Rob Cantley. This one tipped over and fell over, so it's not looking its absolute best right now, but still holding on to a lot of pictures, and these pictures are increasing in size. So big leaf jumps on this one, like that. And this one back here is new. I don't really feel like messing around and getting it, but I'll do a highlight video on it soon so you guys can get a better look at it. Pure mollis back there settling in, that I got recently. VTI Lowii, surprisingly enough, put out a really small picture on a giant leaf jump, so I'm very surprised about that actually. I was expecting a much bigger picture, but you know, can't complain too much with how much size everything else is really put on recently, so just be patient with the thing and grow it out. Glandulifera Fipiata, picture looking good still. Some good exudate there. This little mini picture put out, just a smaller version of it. Just such a good Glandulifera hybrid. You know, the Fipiata Rose Mountains really plays well with the Glandulifera right here too. Here's my Kratom. It's doing so much better since I put it outside. It was really suffering in my bedroom, so I put it out here, and it's really starting to hit a new stride. And then Palawanensis is right here, and it has a picture forming a really inconvenient spot back there, unfortunately. But I can just move this bench and pull it out. But tendrils get super long. It's got some basal growth now too. It's doing pretty well. Flowered male recently. Like these Naga, Christian Klein, seed grown individual. Has a rosette of pictures, new one coming soon. Just really gets these nice big dark plum colored pictures. Very nice plants. And here is Nepenthes Talented Vision. This is from Predatory Plants. This is Truncata northiana VTI cross Fipiata cross Vogelii. It looks a lot like Vogelii. Here's its newest picture. I really don't mind. It's just looks like it's kind of a squatter Vogelii. It's really cool in my opinion. Maybe some of the other parents will shine through as this one gets bigger. We'll see. Here is the newest Rob Cantley picture, finally bouncing back. I mean, that took forever for it to produce a nice picture again. It just does not like to get wet. I've talked about this before. Keep water off this one's leaves. It likes to dry out between waterings. It's prone to fungus, and it also just doesn't like to get wet, even non-fungal issues. But yeah, very nice little shaped pitcher. These pitchers still not nearly as big as they were a few years ago. I'm not sure why it set it back so far back in pitcher size, but it is what it is. Got this Kyla, cool looking lower pitcher here. Has another one opening on the side. Hopefully it kind of improves upon this really good one right here. Spina, a giant bush. I barely look at this one. I mean, I look at it, but I barely maintain it because it's such a bush. Beautiful dark pitchers, good specimen. Almost won a prize at the Bay Cup show in 2022, but it was a little bit too. The weave was a little bit too wavy. It looked a little too stressed. Nepenthes hasn't flowered yet. It's my Edward Sienna, still hasn't made a leaf jump, but looking healthy. Here is Maxima clippiata. You know, really clippiata looking plant. And here's a surprising one that's really taken a special turn. This is the Talengensis Vicia boschiana. Looking like a chocolate specialata Jacquelinia. And there's a beautiful picture opened here, back here in the bushes. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to get us too good of a look. But it's just putting out spectacular pictures now. When it was just okay not too long ago, so I'm excited to see this improvement. And back here is a special new acquisition. This is one I got. This is the Ventricosa porcelain form. A certain Bay Area grower had to part with his collection because he was moving and he was giving away plants, so I took this Ventricosa porcelain off his hands. You know, this was a plant that was on my wish list, so I was more than happy to get it from him. I really didn't have room for more large plants, but you know, I'm gonna make room. I'm gonna cram this one in here, and it looks good back here. I wish I had it in a little bit more of a showy other place, but I'll have to repot it and really find a different spot for it. Figure a little place to show it off better. Vicia loga spectabilis. Gonna have a lot of pictures on it. Look at that. 2 basal points, and this picture is still holding on pretty well. Looks good. Truncata Highland reddish leaves. And every day, for some reason, that lid folds like this. It looks like it's dying off, but it's not. It'll come back in the morning. It'll be normal again. But yeah, putting out a new picture back there. Hopefully, it keeps running slow. And also another spectacular addition from that grower who had to part with some of his plants. This is Truncata cross Edward Sienna. This is the Truncata Giant cross Edward Sienna Mari Pare. And I mean, I can't even believe I got this. Like, you know, I mean, I don't want to say like what I paid or didn't pay for it, but let's just say that it was a very, 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 very good deal. And now it's in my greenhouse, and I'm growing this Truncata cross Edward Sienna. Just never thought I would have this suddenly in my greenhouse, growing the bed of bromeliads here. And with that, my last acquisition from this grower was this Truncata cross Hamada, the Nepenthes predator from Predatory Plants. So yeah, nice little haul, I'd say. Unexpected, but I mean, how am I going to say no to these? I mean, even if I didn't have room for them, I had to find room. And here's a Spatulata Aristocuity Glossoloia, and upper pitcher back there in the corner. Hamada, doing better. It looked like it wasn't getting enough light for a little bit, but that new growth looks promising. And then Peltata 4025, which looks almost identical to my 3464, which is growing right next to it. But this one has a lot more basal growth. This one is an Akadama, and it's basaling a lot more than this one in Sphagnum, and no basal growth at all from this one, even though about the same age. And up here, some Helianthera and a Densiflora. A couple nice ones on it right now. Nice little ambiance plants. Some new growth on some of these Heelys, like this Ionaceae cross Saracenoides, this Parva cross Ionaceae, this Uncinata, and some of these I'm not too happy with right now, but and here's the Aristocuides. Looking good, looking happy. Just even though the pictures are tiny and the growth is small, you know, I'm just happy with a little mini version of the adult. And here's Spatulata Jacquelinia with 5 pictures on it right now. Just unbelievable. I've never seen 5 pitchers at once held onto this thing. Wow. And this one is starting to die off a little bit, but just starting to. And I just opened up this new one here, and these pitchers are getting pretty damn big. All about 8 inches, 7, 8 inches. And yeah, wonderful cross. One of my favorite crosses from Borneo Exotics. Any cross with Jacques Lanier is really good in my opinion. And speaking of which, Raja Jacques Lanier, and it's about to form a pretty respectable pitcher. I mean, not the biggest thing on the planet by any means, but I mean, once that thing opens, it'll be a lot bigger than the last one. It won't be so miniature where you can't make out any characteristics. So I'm excited, really excited to finally have a pitcher on this thing. I mean, it's been over a year since I got it. I mean, this cross is truly spectacular. Very rare, but when you see an adult, and the few occasions you do, it's just such a great plant. Myrmecodia, Platytarvia, Truncata, and back here in the corner, this Titanic Tyrant, predatory plants. Couple pictures and forming a new one. And Singolana, trimmed that up recently. Looking good. And then Specialata Diabolica, some upper pitchers on it. Going down the vine now. Upper pitcher here. I mean, these are kind of more intermediates, but they almost uppers. And here's an intermediate, and here's some true lowers. Gorgeous, amazing. And just a long vine now. This is one of my fastest growing plants ever. Thing that flowered and vined faster than any other plant I've ever had. Flowered male. Here's Peltata Jacquelinia. What's really interesting about this one is that these were not striped. This pitcher is not striped. This pitcher's not striped. But this opening pitcher right here is about to be intensely striped. It's gonna be really cool. This could be one. This could be one I'm truly in love with. Galliae Uli Caliana. Looking a lot better since I took it out of the hanging basket. Just holds water a lot better, and pitchers are bigger now. Galliae Hematoplatykyla, and then here's Rocco Boschiana Vici, which I've had for 1 year. I got it in July last year. We have a nice new pitcher here. Not too distinct yet, but when it gets bigger, it'll have a really cool faded peristome. And these are not new. They were just from my indoor setup. I finally put them outside. This is Nepenthes Amphibiata, those mountains. And here is Loia Boschiana Vici, cross Spatulata Edwardsiana, created by Nepenthes Vibes. And this should be a really good one. It'll have muted teeth, but I'm really interested to see what quarter Edwardsiana does to a hybrid, since most Eddie hybrids are half. So, and then my cutting from Brian Spencer, Loia ventricosa back there, is finally starting to move after 8 months. So yeah, just thought I'd do a quick update. I didn't want to spend quite as much time as I have on some previous ones. And just my greenhouse right now is it's really starting to come along and become, you know, everything I've really been hoping for the last couple of years. Really starting to enjoy the fruits of my labor from all these years. And obviously, if you have any questions, more than welcome to comment.